The last few programs, we've focused a lot on the top of Pearl, looking at her roof, figuring out what the best way might be to patch the openings that are in the roof to make her completely waterproof, because right now she's not exactly there. For the time being, though, we have a very good top covering her, and that seems to be keeping a little over 90% of the liquid out whenever the rains come. And with the approaching winter season, we are a little more worried about rainfall, because we're about to hit the time of year when showers become pretty regular as that temperature drops down a little bit. We still have a couple of things to address. Plastic on the side windows needs to be redone to seal them up. And I've got this one window in the rear driver's corner that is leaking. The window is not installed. It's simply popped back into place and locked in with its frame, but it's not sealed in. So I'm probably going to end up covering it with plastic too, just to give the added protection of keeping the water from seeping in around it. Okay, the back window is pretty much done the same way, but the tarp comes down low enough on the back of Pearl so that it keeps it from leaking, at least for the time being. And that's all we're worried about right now, is for the time being. I've kind of reached not a stopping point, but a pausing point when it comes to Pearl's roof. My initial problem was she was getting wet inside when it rained. I think that problem is pretty well taken care of, at least for the time being. So, for this show, we're going to move from the top back to the bottom. Before I start poking around under Pearl again, let me show you one more thing here relating to the top. Remember the tarp we took off, the blue and silver tarp? And I said it had a few holes in it and had one big rip up on the front. That is where I think the water was coming in. I couldn't tell how bad that rip was while it was in place. I could see it, but I really couldn't see the extent of it. But now that I have the tarp on the ground, I thought I'd just show you what kind of condition it's in. Like, wow. Yeah, there's a hole in it. That, for perspective's sake, that rip is almost 4 feet long. It's got to be 3.5 to 4 feet long. It is right in the middle, I mean right on the midline of the tarp. And it's starting to tear a second bit down on the end as well. So yeah, I think it was time to replace this little piece of vinyl, you know. Anyway, I thought you could appreciate the fact that I did indeed make a wise decision there. That's a rare thing with old Russ, but it does happen once in a blue moon. And now we find ourselves back under Pearl to take another look at this fuel tank, specifically look at the straps that are holding it in place, and even more specifically look at the bolts and nuts that are holding those straps in place, because that's what we have to remove to drop those straps in order to drop the tank. Now, I'm in front of the tank, laying right here, and there aren't any bolts on the front, but I do want to show you how these straps connect. If you look right here, this is the top of one of the straps. Now see, it has a little T-shaped piece on it that slides into that hole that's angled. It slides in there and turns like that to lock it in place. So that is how the straps are secured for the front of the tank. It's on the back of the tank that we can access the bolts that are used to tighten it up. And so now, here we are on the back side of Pearl's gas tank, okay? And I am right under one of the bolts here that holds this right-hand strap in place. Let me show it to you. This is it. Now this bolt is it's a hook bolt. Actually goes this way. It's got a hook on the other end right up here that hooks into part of Pearl's frame here. Therefore it's just hanging there, but it's hanging there quite securely so that when you tighten this strap up, it holds the tank firmly in place. As you can see, it's not the easiest thing in the world to get to, even though it does move a little bit. You've got the gas tank, you got the strap, you got the bolt, you got the nut on the bolt, and then you've got Pearl's steel frame. None of these items want to move with the exception of this bolt wiggling just a little bit. Just enough that maybe we can get a socket up in there and turn that. I don't know if a deep socket is actually going to work. So let's try one. Okay, well, I think it fit, and it looks like there's just enough room to actually attach the wrench, maybe, and turn this socket. I'm actually turning it with my hand, so I got a feeling this is the wrong size socket. This is a, what is it, 15 millimeter? Let's put it on the impact wrench and give it a try. Didn't go in the right direction. Okay. That's not doing anything. One thing, I think I have the wrong size socket, and secondly, it's just a little too hard to get all that up in there. Now, okay, 15 millimeter is the smallest half-inch socket I have for my impact wrench. So I guess I need to go look and see if, check my other sockets. I have a few other deep sockets that will be smaller. They're probably 3/8, but that's okay. I can use I got room to use a wrench. So let me go check on those other sockets. I'll be back. Okay, that was quick, wasn't it? I have a 10 millimeter. What else? An 11, a 12, and a 14. Now watch this be 13, right? Be just my luck. I don't know if any of these will fit, but we're gonna give them a try and see. And since these are all 3/8 sockets, I'll just have to use standard wrench because my power driver won't work. All right, let's see what happens. Starting out with the 10 millimeter. Which is not even going to... It's too small. Okay. Figured that much. We'll skip the 11 and go to the 12. It's not going to work either. Okay, this is the 14. Really? Okay, they're just... The sockets themselves are not deep enough. That's the problem with these. I got a sneaky feeling that just might be an 11 or a 12 millimeter. Where's my 12? Is this it? Maybe, yeah, there's the 12. But I can't get it close enough to find out. Well, poo. This is so frustrating to not have exactly what you need. These 1/2-inch sockets are big enough to actually fit completely down on there. And give me some room to work. But 15 is just too big. Like I said, I'm thinking maybe an 11. I don't know. It's just obvious that I've got to get some more sockets before we can do anything with this. But if nothing else, I have showed you what I'm dealing with here in trying to drop this gas tank. Okay, this bolt right here that we've been looking at is one. And there's another one just like it right over there. And frankly, it actually looks like it might even be harder to get to than the first one. And there is one more we have to deal with, and it's going to be on this end, I think. Or is it this end? Okay, it is on the right side of the tank. Sure, you can just like barely see it in there. I'm actually shooting through a spider web to show it to you. But here again, it is right up against the spring for the right rear dually wheel. It does look like it might be a little easier to get to, which is good because we actually have to take that cross strap off before we even think about getting the two front to back straps off. It is laying on top of them in the middle of the tank going across, so it's the strap that has to come off first. But this is all going to be a moot point if I can't get the right socket to fit on those bolts. Now, obviously, there is such a thing because the bolts are on there, so they had to be installed with something. Therefore, I just have to find the same thing to uninstall them. time to do a little bit of searching, I'd say. Yeah. Okay. Well, nothing like spending an afternoon crawling around under your RV. At least it is a beautiful day. However, I don't have any beautiful news to report as far as making progress on the gas tank. Well, you know I say that, and knowledge is power. I think I used that line in a previous video not long ago, and in this case I've got some more knowledge. I have a vague idea of what size those nuts are that are holding the straps in place. So if I get myself a suitable assortment of some nice long shank sockets, preferably of a 1/2-inch drive, then I think maybe we can make some progress about getting those nuts off and getting the straps loose and dropping the tank. When I reach that point, I will really feel like I've made some progress. But for today, I guess where progress is going to stop here. I've got my job to do research-wise as far as looking to find out exactly what kind of deep socket I need to get those bolts off. And I will tell you this, I ran across, see, I've done a little bit of looking into this already in dropping gas tanks, and I've run across quite a few people who had a problem with the nuts being frozen in place on the bolts. They are in a very exposed position under the vehicle, subject to all the road grime and the wear and tear, the temperature changes, the mud, the sludge, the water, everything that splashes up on there. So one can easily imagine those bolts becoming welded on to those, or the nuts actually becoming welded onto the bolts. Got it backwards. If that is the case, there are cases, situations that I've read about where people have had to cut the straps and actually replace them. I am assuming that those are still available because we still have gas tanks held in by straps on vehicles to this very day. That's the common way, the only way I know of, that they're actually secured in place. So replacing those straps, it may come down to that if we do have to actually damage the straps to get them off. That's a worst case scenario. For now, I'm hoping that we can undo those bolts, undo the nuts on the bolts. Keep saying that backwards. That we can get the nuts loose on the bolts and just drop those straps and can drop the tank. That's what'll happen in the perfect world. And we all know how perfect the world of Pearl is. Well, I tell you what is perfect, homies, and that's you. You guys make it worthwhile each and every week. I want to thank you again for watching. And as always, I'm open to comments and suggestions. I have said this before. Some of you out there have dropped gas tanks before and successfully cleaned them and put them back in or replaced them, whatever the case may be. Let me know if you've ever run into this situation. What did you use to get those nuts off? How did you handle it? All right? Please give me some input so we can move forward with this project on Pearl, all right? Thank you so much for watching again. Please leave your comments below. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and please give me a thumbs up on this video. And please join me every week right here for the adventures of Pearl, the MT, and me. Till that day, I'm Russ. Love you, Nomies. We'll talk later.